Okay, so it's been a little while since I've done a video of any kind. Um, Really, just to cover like those inexpensive OBD2 Bluetooth scanners that you find on Amazon and eBay, and the Torque Pro app. Um, it's not going to be a real in depth. I'm not going to go crazy with it and show you every single feature, but just a quick overview. I know there's other ones out there, but I used mine in a little different manner. I used mine as a tool to help me when I was shopping for used vehicles. I bought my Excursion here. Um, I was able to run some codes, came back, told me what was going on, showed it to the owner of the truck. We negotiated a little harder with there, so I'd say I probably saved almost $1,000 off of the price, just by knowing what a little more about the history of the vehicle, what codes it had thrown. Um, so the first part is, of course, your LVD2 Diagnostics Interface. It's basically just a Bluetooth piece that interfaces through your OBD2 connector there. Mine happens to be up underneath the dash. Buddy's Volvo, it's in the center console. So it really kind of varies where that would be on your vehicle. Second part, I run it through my Android tablet here. It's not really you can run it through an Android phone. So it's either one. I happen to have Android stuff, so hard to say whether it'll work for iPhone. So one of the first things it does is it kind of, I'm trying not to get too much glare here. It's going to start flashing. One for GPS, second one that's got a communication with the phone, the second is the communication with the third is the communication with the Bluetooth adapter, and then finally communication with your vehicle's
Engine
computer.
is at operating temperature.
And as you can hear, it tells you when it's at engine is at operating temperature. Really kind of just so you know, if you're waiting for your vehicle to warm up, there you go. So one of the main things that I use is the ability to check fault codes, or used. Just simply tap on it, and it starts taking a quick scan of the fault codes. So I'm going to try and angle this so I don't get too much glare. And it's basically just going to interface with the computer here and get any fault codes. Doesn't take too long. It's only like a 30-second scan, something like that. And there you go. No fault codes stored in ECU. Now, when there are codes, you'll get the red code up top. And the cool part is you can actually tap on it, and it'll do a search and take you to a database giving you more information about what that code is. So really not a bad setup. There's other tools, track recorder. I obviously don't use that with an Excursion. That's a secondary download for free. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's not really going to show you much on my screen, but you can have icons that'll tell you your RPM, your GPS speed, vacuum, while it's recording video with the camera of the device. Now mine's in a mount, so it's not going to work very well. And you can even have it overlay with mapping. So pretty cool setup. Obviously there's map view, track recorder, torque scan, just another type of scan, same as along the fault codes. It can give you kind of readings on various items the vehicle's experiencing. Test results, you can do graphing. I don't really mess with those, to be honest. I'm sure there's other places you can find out exactly what they do, reviews and stuff like that. Check your OBD2 status. It will run through and say that Bluetooth enabled, connected to adapter, all that fun stuff here. Don't really have it too much set up with that. I never really bother that. Usually since I bought the vehicle, the Excursion here, and I have it, I've been using the real-time information here. Kind of cool setup. I mean, as you can see, I've got mine kind of set up for me. I've got GPS speed, coolant, gives me my RPMs. I have GPS height. I live in Colorado. It's pretty cool to see that there's 1,000-foot difference between my house and where I work. Mass airflow, and then my intake temperature. I also have fuel flow measure. This is gallons per hour, gallons per minute. The main thing I kind of used it for was for the coolant temperature, just kind of keep an eye on things as they go in. You can actually have multiple home screens here, and scroll up or down. I also, the fuel system stuff is not supported. Here's a lot of information, GPS height. It's not bad stuff. Gives you some GPS accuracy and fuel flow. You can go a lot more in depth. You program it in, it'll tell you your miles per gallon and all that stuff, and distance to empty. Does give you DTC codes. If you take a look here, obviously misfires, fines, fuel system checks complete. It can kind of go through a whole check as far as all your system goes there. GPS cords, pitch and roll meters. I don't really have mine kind of centered right in the truck, so not too much to worry about. And of course, a compass is there available. You can kind of customize it. You just press and hold to add a display. You got a ton of different needles you can pick and stuff like that. There's your pitch meter, trip reset, on off, drive cycle status, emissions monitors, and DT since the last code clear. Just a raw data display. Pretty much everything. You can have a map set up there, so you can still have it kind of GPS you while it's up and running. The fuel and air status, all that stuff. So it's actually a pretty neat setup here. We'll use, since I use all the other ones, but we'll use a graph. We'll just throw a graph up here. Here's where you can kind of select what you add. Sorry about the bumpiness there. You've got distance times. You've got or times for how fast you can get to a certain speed, 0 to 30 miles per hour time. That runs off a GPS accelerator. They use the accelerometers and stuff. Didn't quite scroll on something. Okay, good. And then you've got your 40 to 60 times. So it's actually kind of cool tool to have if you have, if you're doing some performance and tuning testing on a sports car. Obviously not a concern in my excursion. Here's some things it's letting me kind of select: acceleration sensor, various axes. So that's pretty cool. Air fuel ratios you can check. I can't do that with the excursion, obviously, because it's not lit up. But if you look at average trip speed, barometric pressure, catalyst temperature, it goes all the way down. There are just so many different things you can kind of do with this setup here. Engine load, exhaust cap. It's so many different options you can kind of check through, and it varies per vehicle and what your OBD2 ports and computer supports. A lot of GPS information, various stuff. You can check horsepower with it. I don't know how accurate that is. I'm guessing it's spec calculation. Probably, I'm sure not as good as a dyno, but stuff like your timing advance and stuff like that, just to kind of get a good idea of where the performance of the vehicle is at. Vacuum gauge, it'll give you a rough idea of that. So all the stuff that may not necessarily be something you want to go out and get individual sensors and stuff for. It's really not a bad setup. As far as the torque app goes, adding a section is pretty easy. You just select it, select your size of the display, and then that's basically it there. Sorry, I think you just got a bit of sun glare. Sorry about that. And then select the size of the display and what it puts it out. Now mine always does this. I do not know why, but it defaults it to a side view. I have to go back into real-time information, and now it'll show it right. So it's actually a pretty neat setup. Like I said, you can see the various gauges, so to speak, that you can have. But yeah, really not a bad tool. I picked up the OBD2 adapter for the Bluetooth adapter for I think it was $20, something like that, on Amazon. They have smaller ones now, which I'm kind of wishing I had gotten, but other than that, it's not a bad piece of equipment. The app itself was $5, and the one plug-in was there, and there's how you can kind of see status. It's kicking over. It's the LEDs flash like crazy. Other than that, I really couldn't tell you anything bad about it. I'm not saying it's a replacement for an expensive scan tool, but for $25, it can give you more than enough information. I'd say it rivals most of the $100 scan tools and stuff like that. Obviously not going to top some of your dealer supported tools or your multiple $100 Snap-on devices and stuff like that. But for someone who's got a tablet, $25 saved me almost $1,000 on the price of the excursion here. So can't really argue with it. So yeah, definitely feel free to check it out. Like I said, just search Bluetooth OBD2 adapter on Amazon or eBay, whatever, and then Torque Pro. in the Google Play Store. It's well worth the $5 for the download and the adapter price. All right, thanks again, guys.